So today
We're reviewing Beast.
recently widowed Dr. Nate Daniels and his two teenage daughters travel to a South African game reserve managed by Martin Battles. However, what begins as a journey of healing soon turns into a fearsome fight for survival when a survivor of bloodthirsty poachers, begins stalking them. So we're trying to catch up to some older movies that came out this year. They are movies in 2022 to kind of add to our total of movies. And Jake, do you want to start out with your initial thoughts, overall thoughts of Beast?
Yeah, I still think about it as lion fight with Zuba versus McCune. There's definitely there's definitely some things about it that were definitely enjoyable. Obviously the premise of the movie is one that you would think that that you could get behind. I'm a big animal fan, so the fact that it's set in Africa, lions are really cool creatures. You have a lot of animals to play with there in Africa that you could use. The setting should be pretty cool, and from what I saw in the movie, there was definitely some cool backdrops. I thought without giving the details yet,
Yeah.
there was definitely some enjoyable things, but overall, some characters in the movie definitely took away from what could have been a pretty cool storyline. Either way, it's definitely a movie that had some cool things about it, but overall lacked in just really good storytelling, and what you got was just kind of a mixed bag.
What were your overall thoughts? Quick thoughts.
Quick thoughts. I think it's an okay movie, and I think it had a really good idea to base the movie on. But I think, like Jake was saying, and I think Kenny's going to say, it definitely is missing something. I did enjoy it. You know, it's a movie, but I would just say it was an okay movie and could have been done better, probably.
Yeah, I'm going to be the most harsh in this movie. Did not like this movie at all. There's a lot of problems. There's really dumb character decisions. And overall, this movie's a mess. I did not like it. Barely at all. There's not many positives with this movie. But why don't we go into our positives first?
Yeah, biggest positive right away, outside of the animals. I thought the special effects were pretty good on the lions. Obviously,
Yeah.
you can't film with a real lion fighting like in the Edge movie where you have like an actual bear in a lot of scenes. Like it's hard to film with a real lion like that. But obviously, I think one of the biggest positives was Idris Elba. He's always, whatever movie he's in, even if it's a terrible movie, he's going to be a bright spot in that, just with his acting, his charisma. So he definitely did his part. I'd say part of the storytelling was pretty cool with the reasoning behind the lion, why he was killing people. I definitely bought into that. But other than that, though, that's probably about the only positives I had.
What were your positives?
Positives, it was an animal movie, like Jake was saying, and I think it did have a decent storyline. Obviously, there were some good actors in it from previous movies or work they had done before. But again, I think there was something missing with I'll stay with the positives. I think there was decent actors, decent storyline.
There's a lot of negatives.
So, yeah.
Yeah, my positives are for sure Idris Elba. He's one of my favorite actors. Is great in Pacific Rim, obviously, one of my favorite movies. And the build-up to this movie is perfect with the way how they set it up with the poachers. There's a lion, and the pride gets killed by poachers, and this one lion survives. It's such a great build-up and perfect beginning of the movie to set the tone. It's just so perfect of a setup. The CGI was really good for the lion. There's some cool scenes. The end scene, because this is going to include spoilers, I'm just going to set it up front. The end scene where he's getting mauled by the lion is excellent. It's such a cool scene and realistic. But that's about it for the positives. We're going to go into our negatives.
Negatives for me, without a doubt, I worried about this from the trailer, was the two daughters in the movie. It just seems like movies where you have, it's not just them in this movie, it's like just movies in general that have characters that make dumb decision after dumb decision and are arguing and they're combating against the lead of the movie in ways that, obviously there's a reasoning behind that, but it's just, I can forgive one bad decision, but when you get past 2, 3, and 4, and it's just creating and that's your storytelling. That's how you get to these situations where a lion's coming after you. That's a big issue for me. And it's, like I said, it seems to be a problem with a lot of movies we've seen with unlikable characters, and that just that whole subplot and storyline element to this movie really derailed it for me. Because if it was me making it, putting Idris Elba out there by himself would have been a better storyline. With his friend, maybe would have been a cooler movie.
Yeah,
but
maybe.
that's probably the biggest negative for me outside of maybe just the. No, that's probably it for me.
Your negatives.
Yeah, the negatives are just not following, which, I should have highlighted earlier. The positive beginnings of, like what Kenny said, what was a good start. There were certain things that were, evolving in the movie that you thought were headed in the right direction. But the negatives were that it just didn't follow it up as well. And when you're comparing it to other great movies, maybe like this, like Jaws and other
The
things,
Edge.
yeah, where animals are involved, it missed more of the substance or the following up of that storyline to make it that much better.
Yeah, the main negatives is just the character decisions. That's got to be the biggest one. And the overall plot of the movie is it's pretty basic. Lions attacking you. They didn't go any crazy route of saying. I thought they were going to go route
Mutant.
Yeah, that he was mutant, that he could like camouflage or swim. But there are character decisions that are just face palming bad. I mean, it was unbelievable. The whole reason why they even get in trouble is dumb. And that's got to be good. Like, the main reason why you're in danger has to be the biggest priority. And the beginning of the movie, they get out of the car to help someone. And I know we're not doing a spoiler discussion. I'll be very brief for this. But they get out of the car to help this guy. He's got his kids with him. I'm sorry, but that's got to be your top priority. Not this freaking random guy you met. And then the one guy's kind of closer to not just wander off into a lion-infested forest when your two kids are in the car. It's so dumb decision. And then the guy goes in the water with the gun. I mean, it's so stupid.
Yeah, the fact that he
All the
got out of
negatives.
that's kind of frustrating by itself because from the trailers you saw crocodiles in the trailer shot when he's got back into the water, and they didn't really go anywhere with that.
Yeah.
I mean, you could have gone some really. This is the thing. This movie is taking place in an area where there's a lot of really cool animals. So you could have gone all in with this in that final act. You could have hippos. You could have had rhinos. You could have had a lot of freaking animals, hyenas, tons of things, and they didn't really utilize more than the lions, which is really frustrating because you could have done some really cool things there at the end.
Yeah, and then, I mean, it's mainly just all the stupid character decisions. Everyone's dumb. The kids are stupid, which is kind of be expected, but it just adds on to all this crap. I mean, nothing makes sense, too. Like, the one girl just runs out of there and gets to the guy on the island. Like,
So she walked through crocodile-infested waters?
Yeah, and she wasn't afraid of the lion. Like, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, as a freaking teenager or kid, you're not getting out of that car when there's a freaking lion attacking you. And even the one girl stabbing the lion, just not realistic. But just so this doesn't get too long, what do you want to say?
No, just adding in one more. Yeah, I think some of the lack of, like, the lion being this, extra strong lion, which it should be, and
It's a bigger lion.
a little more, supernatural, and then he can't even break the glass of the Jeep itself.
Well, he's not supernatural, but he is
Right,
bigger.
I'm just saying, but you're built up that way. He's supposed to be something extra special. Can't break the glass. And they actually downplayed, I think, some of what should have been the strengths of the lion's type role in this movie.
And Idris Elba should not have survived. There's no way he would have
Yeah.
survived. I obviously don't want him to die. Like I said, he's one of my favorite actors. But he wouldn't have survived that insane.
No, and you should have ended it like The Grey, where it ends where both you see Liam Neeson and the wolf kind of like both dead and they're both breathing. You don't know it's their last breath. You don't know who won that fight. I mean, that's a different fight. It's a human versus a wolf. But remember how that ended? I mean, that's kind of at least,
It would have been more powerful.
That's more realistic, that situation.
More realistic, more
Yeah.
powerful. You want to give your final thoughts and score?
Overall, like I said, it's a mixed bag for me. Definitely think it could have been a lot better, which is where it's really frustrating me a little bit. But I have to say, overall, like I said, it's when you have Idris Elba, and it's gonna be an okay movie just because he's gonna do his part, and you got animals in it. I'm gonna enjoy that part of it. So I think overall, it's definitely it really is the definition of a mixed bag. So I'm gonna go a little bit over average for me and give it a 5.5 out of 10, just because of Idris Elba and the fact that there was lines in it.
You want to give your final thoughts and score?
And final thoughts, again, it didn't live up to the expectations I had for it. I mean, obviously, we put some pretty high bars on not only these kind of movies, but the actors that were in it. And then you watch trailers and you kind of build it up. And it just didn't reach that. I mean, not terrible, not bad. Maybe if I see it again, I'll see something more in it. but I'm going to have to go with a 6, maybe 6.5.
Well, just pick a score.
6.
6. All right. Yeah, I do agree. The lion wasn't as fierce as Makunga from Madagascar too, but
The fight.
it wasn't as fierce as that. But the thing is, there are certain things like about Jaws and like The Edge that are these movies about these creatures, and you can't downplay it. Like The Edge, there's not one moment where they downplay the threat of the bear, and I just think that they kind of downplayed that at the end. Too many stupid character decisions. The reason why they're in trouble is dumb. Things don't make sense, and then the lion's cool, but it's just unrealistic with the way the character survives. In this movie, there's excellent scenes, like him getting mauled is so realistic at the end, and the setup is perfect, but too much messed up with this movie, so I'll give it a 6 out of 10 as well as you. And 6 out of 10, wouldn't recommend it, was very disappointed, because this movie had a lot of potential.
Yeah. That was our review of Beast. Let us know in the comments what you thought about this movie. And either way, we'll see you guys in the next video. And yeah, guys, thanks for watching our review of Beast. I gave it a 5.5, and these two both gave it a 6. And that'll wrap our thoughts on that. And we'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, guys.